Every single thing I'm about to share with you came from a generation that wasted absolutely nothing, fixed everything themselves, and somehow kept their homes running better than we ever do with all our modern products and gadgets. These are Grandma's real household secrets, and we're counting down all 45 of them, starting right now. Number 45. Pinch salt into your coffee grounds before brewing. Before you add water to your coffee maker, drop a small pinch of regular table salt directly into the dry grounds. Not into the water, into the grounds themselves. Salt naturally neutralizes bitter acids in coffee, and it does this without adding any salty flavor whatsoever. The result is a noticeably smoother, rounder cup. Grandma knew this when fancy coffee shops didn't even exist yet. Number 44. Deep-fried chicken and Crisco. Old-fashioned cooks swore by solid vegetable shortening for frying chicken, and science actually backs them up. Crisco has a higher smoke point than butter and a more neutral flavor than most oils, which means the chicken skin gets perfectly crispy without burning, and the meat stays juicy inside. Melt enough to submerge pieces halfway. Keep the temperature steady around 350 degrees and do not rush it. Number 43. Toss bread into brown sugar. If your brown sugar has turned into a rock, place a slice of fresh bread directly into the container, seal it overnight, and check it in the morning. Bread releases moisture slowly, and brown sugar is hygroscopic, meaning it actively pulls that moisture back in and softens itself. By morning, you have perfectly workable sugar again without any crumbling or chipping. Number 42. Add a splash of vinegar to poaching water. When poaching eggs, add about a tablespoon of white vinegar to simmering water before cracking the egg in. The acidity causes the egg white proteins to coagulate faster, which means the whites wrap tightly around the yolk instead of spreading out into ragged wisps across the pan. The result is a beautifully neat poached egg every single time. Number 41. Roll citrus firmly before juicing. Press an orange or lemon hard against your counter and roll it back and forth for about 15 seconds. This breaks down the internal membranes inside the fruit, releasing the juice pockets before you even cut it open. You will get significantly more juice out of the same piece of fruit with zero extra effort and no special equipment needed. Number 40. Drop a bay leaf into your flour canister. Weevils and flour beetles absolutely hate the volatile oils inside bay leaves. Tuck 1 or 2 dried leaves directly into your flour, rice, or cornmeal container, and those pests will stay away. This works as a natural deterrent without any chemicals touching your food. Pantry moths also avoid it, making this one of the most underrated kitchen storage tricks around. Number 39. Place a piece of stale bread next to cut onions. If you have leftover half an onion in your fridge, but hate the smell overtaking everything, put a small piece of stale bread right beside it in a sealed container. The bread absorbs sulfur compounds released by the onion and dramatically reduces that sharp, lingering smell throughout your refrigerator. Number 38. Freeze fresh herbs and olive oil using ice cube trays. Fill each compartment with chopped fresh herbs, then pour olive oil over them and freeze solid. Every time a recipe calls for herbs and oil together, which is most savory cooking, you pop out 1 cube and you have both ingredients perfectly preserved at peak flavor. Grandmothers across every culture did this exact thing before anyone called it a cooking hack. Number 37. Soak wilted lettuce in lemon water. If your salad greens have gone limp and sad, combine cold water with a few squeezes of fresh lemon juice and soak the lettuce for about 20 minutes. The cold water causes cell walls to rehydrate and firm back up while the citric acid helps restore some crispness and color. This genuinely rescues lettuce that you would otherwise throw straight into the trash. Number 36. Clean windows with crumpled newspaper and white vinegar. Spray diluted white vinegar onto the glass, then scrub and buff with crumpled newspaper instead of paper towels. The slightly abrasive texture of newspaper combined with printer ink compounds breaks through grime and grease without leaving a single streak behind. Modern paper towels actually trap and smear residue, which is why newspaper still outperforms them. Number 35. Store a small bag of rice in your kitchen cupboards. Rice is a powerful desiccant, meaning it draws moisture right out of the surrounding air. Tucking a cotton bag filled with dry rice into a cabinet that tends to get humid prevents mold growth, keeps spices from clumping, and protects any wooden items stored there. The same principle behind those silica packets and new shoe boxes, just completely free. Number 34. Keep an open box of baking soda in your refrigerator. Baking soda is amphoteric, which means it reacts with and neutralizes both acidic and alkaline odor molecules simultaneously. Unlike sprays or scented products that simply cover smells, baking soda actually eliminates the odor chemistry at the molecular level. Replace the box every 3 months for consistent freshness throughout your entire fridge. Number 33. Toss a few pieces of chalk into your toolbox. Chalk absorbs moisture and prevents metal tools from rusting. Drop 3 or 4 sticks in among your wrenches and screwdrivers, and they create a continuously dry microenvironment inside the box. The chalk slowly releases as it absorbs humidity, protecting every metal surface around it completely passively. No sprays, no oily residues, nothing complicated. Number 32. Mop your floors with a used tea bag. After brewing tea, save the wet bags and add them to a bucket of warm mop water. The tannins in black tea break down grease and grime on hardwood floors while leaving an incredibly subtle shine. It conditions the wood lightly rather than stripping it the way harsh chemical cleaners do, and it costs absolutely nothing extra. Number 31. Pour baking soda followed by vinegar down slow drains. Start with half a cup of baking soda pushed as far down the drain as possible. Chase it immediately with a cup of white vinegar. The resulting chemical reaction produces carbon dioxide bubbles that physically scrub soap scum and organic debris off the inside walls of the pipe. Wait 15 minutes, then flush with boiling water. Regular monthly use prevents clogs from ever forming. Number 30. Pack steel wool into mouse entry points. Mice can chew through wood, plastic, and even thin metal, but they cannot chew through steel wool because the sharp fibers cause pain and cut into their mouths. Identify any gap along baseboards, pipes, or exterior walls where mice enter, stuff it completely with steel wool, and seal it with caulk over the top. Grandma's farmhouse stayed mouse-free with exactly this method. Number 29. Stud a whole orange with cloves and hang it. Push whole cloves all over the surface of an orange as densely as you can manage. The eugenol oils in cloves combined with the citrus oils in the orange skin create a powerful natural fragrance that insects, particularly moths, find repellent. Hang these in closets or set them in drawers, and they serve as a beautiful, completely natural air freshener and pest deterrent simultaneously. Number 28. Rub Vicks Vapor Rub on the bottoms of your feet before bed when you have a cold. The menthol and camphor compounds absorb through the thicker skin of the feet more slowly and steadily than through chest skin, creating a sustained release of vapors that ease breathing and reduce nighttime coughing. Many people find it more effective than applying it to the chest because it does not wear off as quickly during sleep. Number 27. Dab Vaseline on cracked heels each night before bed. Petroleum jelly creates a completely occlusive barrier over cracked skin, preventing any moisture from escaping overnight. This allows the skin's own natural healing processes to work uninterrupted. Cover your feet with old cotton socks to hold the Vaseline in place, and you will notice genuinely significant improvement within just 3 to 4 nights of consistent application. Number 26. Pull your sewing thread through beeswax before stitching. Run the thread along a block of natural beeswax, and then press it gently with your fingers to work the wax into the fibers. Wax thread glides through fabric without tangling or knotting, and it becomes naturally water-resistant. Every grandmother who sewed regularly had a small block of beeswax in her sewing basket, because this single step makes hand stitching dramatically easier and more durable. Number 25. Freeze your sewing needle for a few minutes before using it on tough fabric. Cold metal contracts very slightly, and a chilled needle passes through denim, leather, and heavy canvas with noticeably less resistance. The difference is subtle but genuinely real, reducing hand fatigue during long stitching sessions on difficult materials. This is one of those grandma secrets that sounds too simple to possibly work until you actually try it. Number 24. Dab clear nail polish onto a stocking run immediately. The moment a run starts in nylon stockings or tights, apply a tiny dot of clear nail polish at both ends of the run. The polish dries rigid and seals the nylon fibers together, physically stopping the run from traveling further in either direction. This extends the life of stockings significantly and works on tights and even fine knit fabrics in a pinch. Number 23. Rub a dry bar of soap along a stuck zipper. Run the edge of a regular bar of soap, or even a candle, along both sides of the zipper teeth. The waxy coating of soap lubricates the tiny metal or plastic interlocking pieces and reduces friction immediately. This works better than oil because soap does not stain fabric, does not attract dust, and leaves no greasy residue behind on clothing or bags. Number 22. Gargle warm salt water at the first sign of a sore throat. Dissolve half a teaspoon of salt in a cup of warm water and gargle for about 30 seconds, then spit it out. The salt creates an osmotic effect that draws excess fluid and inflammation out of swollen throat tissues while also raising the local pH, making the environment less hospitable to bacteria. Do this several times daily at the very first hint of throat discomfort. Number 21. Take a spoonful of raw honey before bed when sick. Raw honey contains naturally occurring hydrogen peroxide, propolis, and enzymes with documented antimicrobial properties. It also coats irritated throat tissue with a soothing film that reduces nighttime coughing far better than many over-the-counter syrups. For children over 1 year old, it is actually recommended by pediatric guidelines as a safe cough suppressant, validating what grandmothers knew instinctively for generations. Number 20. Press a thin raw potato slice against a bruise. Potato contains an enzyme called catecholase, along with natural starch compounds that reduce inflammation and may help with the discoloration and swelling of a fresh bruise. The cool temperature of the potato also provides immediate minor pain relief. Slice it thin, lay it directly on the bruise, and leave it for 15 to 20 minutes. Old-fashioned, absolutely, but genuinely soothing. Number 19. Pat a paste of baking soda and water onto insect bites. Mix baking soda with just enough water to form a thick paste and apply it directly onto the bite. Baking soda neutralizes the acidic compounds injected by insects that cause itching and swelling. It also draws moisture out of the inflamed skin through osmosis, reducing puffiness. Leave it on for 10 minutes and the relief is noticeable and real. Number 18. Freeze a damp washcloth for headache or heat relief. Wet a clean washcloth, wring it out so it is damp but not dripping. Fold it and place it in the freezer for about 10 minutes. When applied to the forehead, back of the neck, or wrists during a headache or on a hot day, the combination of cold temperature and evaporating moisture pulls heat away from the skin rapidly. It is significantly more effective than a dry cold pack. Number 17. Save your bacon grease in a glass jar by the stove. Grandma never once threw away bacon grease, and she was completely right not to. Strained bacon grease keeps for months at room temperature or indefinitely in the refrigerator, and it adds a deep savory smokiness to cornbread, sautéed greens, roasted vegetables, and pan sauces that no other cooking fat replicates. It is also excellent for seasoning cast iron cookware. Number 16. Reuse glass jars for storage instead of buying containers. Old pickle jars, jam jars, and pasta sauce jars, when cleaned and dried thoroughly, become airtight pantry storage for grains, dried beans, loose-leaf tea, bulk spices, and homemade preserves. Glass does not absorb odors or stains the way plastic containers do, and you can see exactly what is inside without opening anything. Grandma's pantry was lined with these, and it was one of the most functional systems imaginable. Number 15. Cut worn cotton shirts into cleaning rags. Old cotton clothing, especially worn-out t-shirts, makes genuinely superior cleaning cloths compared to paper towels or commercial cleaning wipes. The cotton fibers are pre-softened from repeated washing, making them lint-free and highly absorbent without scratching surfaces. Cut them into uniform squares, keep them in a basket under the sink, wash and reuse them indefinitely. Number 14. Darn worn socks at the heel before they fully hole through. Using a darning needle and matching thread or yarn, weave a patch directly over the thinning area of a sock heel before a hole fully develops. This reinforces the fabric structure and extends the sock's life by months. Every grandmother maintained a darning egg in her sewing basket specifically for this purpose, treating clothing as an investment worth maintaining rather than a disposable item. Number 13. Crush eggshells and scatter them around garden plants. Dried, crushed eggshells create a sharp, abrasive barrier in the soil that slugs and snails absolutely refuse to crawl across because the sharp edges cut into their soft undersides. They also slowly decompose and release calcium carbonate into the soil, raising pH and feeding plants. Save shells in a jar, dry them completely, crush them coarsely, and spread around vulnerable plants like hostas and lettuce. Number 12. Work spent coffee grounds into your garden soil. Coffee grounds are slightly acidic and rich in nitrogen, making them a fantastic free soil amendment for acid-loving plants like blueberries, azaleas, tomatoes, and roses. Mix them directly into the top few inches of soil around plants rather than piling them on the surface where they can compact. They also improve soil drainage and attract earthworms, which further enrich the ground naturally. Number 11. Save the water used to boil eggs for your garden. The water left behind after boiling eggs is rich in dissolved calcium, potassium, and other minerals leached from the shells during cooking. Once it cools completely to room temperature, use it to water vegetable plants and container herbs. Plants respond visibly well to this mineral boost, and you are essentially creating free liquid fertilizer from something you would otherwise pour straight down the drain. Number 10. Pick a sweet watermelon using the belly spot and thump method. Look for a large, creamy yellow field spot on the underside where the melon rested on the ground. A white or pale green spot means it was picked too early. Then thump the melon firmly and listen for a deep, hollow resonance. A tight, high-pitched sound means underripe. A deep thud means the flesh inside is fully developed and sweet. Number 9. Prune tomatoes by removing suckers for maximum yield. Suckers are the small shoots that grow in the V-shaped junction between the main stem and a branch. Left alone, they become full stems that compete for the plant's energy and reduce fruit size and quantity. Pinch them off when they are small, under an inch, with your fingers. The plant redirects all its energy into developing larger, more flavorful tomatoes on the main stems. Number 8. Pick a sweet cantaloupe by smell and stem separation. A perfectly ripe cantaloupe will smell sweet and musky at the blossom end, the end opposite the stem. Additionally, the stem end should show a clean, smooth scar where the melon naturally separated from the vine on its own. If it required cutting or still has stem attached, it was harvested too early and will lack full sweetness. Number 7. Dilute hydrogen peroxide and use it on plants and garden beds. A 3% hydrogen peroxide solution diluted to 1 part peroxide and 3 parts water can be applied to plant roots and soil to combat root rot by delivering extra oxygen directly to the root zone. It also kills certain fungal pathogens and pests without harming beneficial organisms once it breaks down into oxygen and water. Grandma did not call it hydrogen peroxide. She just called it the brown bottle cure. Number 6. Grow ginger in containers by positioning rhizomes correctly. Plant ginger rhizomes horizontally just below the soil surface in wide, shallow containers filled with rich, well-draining potting mix. Keep the container in a warm, humid spot with indirect light. Water consistently but never allow the soil to become waterlogged. Ginger spreads horizontally, so a wide container matters more than a deep one. Harvest edges of the rhizome after several months without disturbing the whole plant, and it continues growing. Number 5. Mix aspirin and baking soda into water for tomato plant health. Dissolve 1 regular uncoated aspirin in a gallon of water along with a tablespoon of baking soda. The salicylic acid in aspirin activates a plant's systemic acquired resistance, essentially switching on its natural disease defense system, while baking soda raises surface pH, making leaves inhospitable to fungal diseases like blight and powdery mildew. Apply as a foliar spray every 2 weeks throughout the growing season. Number 4. Stock a dedicated drawer with spare buttons and string. Every garment that comes into your home arrives with a small spare button sewn into the label or included in a tiny bag. Grandma collected every single one in a dedicated drawer alongside various lengths of string, twine, and elastic. When buttons pop off or waistbands weaken, you have exactly what you need without a single trip to any store. This habit alone saves surprising amounts of money and frustration over a lifetime. Number 3. Rub Vaseline onto a squeaky door hinge. Apply a small amount of petroleum jelly directly to the hinge pin and the surrounding hinge components. Work the door back and forth a few times to distribute it into the moving parts. Vaseline lubricates metal surfaces without the mess, dripping, or staining of oil-based products. It also lasts longer than spray lubricants in most indoor hinge applications and costs virtually nothing to apply. Number 2. Drop a lemon rind down the garbage disposal with running water. The citrus oils in lemon peel are powerful natural degreasers that break down the food residue and grease coating the inside surfaces of your disposal. Combined with the mechanical scrubbing action of the grinding process, the rind cleans the blades while the oils neutralize foul odors at their source. Use it weekly, and your disposal will smell genuinely clean rather than simply masked. Number 1. Simmer cinnamon sticks and whole cloves on your stove in a small pot of water. This is the oldest, most beloved grandma secret of all. The volatile aromatic compounds released by gently simmering these 2 spices fill an entire home with a warm, welcoming scent that no commercial product genuinely replicates. Beyond the smell, both spices have documented antimicrobial properties in their vapor form. Keep the heat low, add water as it evaporates, and let your home smell exactly like Grandma's house always did.